Welcome to the 37th installment of ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Talk Story. I'm your host, Tiff Wells. With me today, she holds it down at shortstop for the Rainbow Wahine softball team, incoming senior Nawai Kaupe. Nawai, welcome to Talk Story.
Aloha. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Now, first off, you wear jersey number 5. Has that always been your number?
Yes, it always has been ever since I was small. Ever since I can remember, honestly, it's been through my family, my mom, and then my dad got 25, and then my oldest brother got 55, then my second oldest brother got 5, and then I just continued with number 5.
Has it always been softball, or did you play other sports growing up?
I did play other sports before softball. Baseball was my number one sport that I've played. My dad was my coach, so it was an easy, it's an easy way to transfer from baseball to softball.
Was dad a hard coach to play for, or was he easy? Which one was he?
Definitely hard. He was very strict. We had this policy of not calling my dad on the field because we weren't treated any different just because we're his kids. So definitely a strict coach, but beneficial.
You mentioned your 2 older brothers. How did they help you growing up as you started to get very good in athletics?
My oldest brother, he's been around like the Little League World Series. I forgot how old that was, but I was about maybe first grade or kindergarten. So he was actually a role model to my second oldest brother. And then my second oldest brother became my role model. So it kind of just trickled down from there.
Of course, you played for the university that it represents the entire state. But to come from Maui, you're born in Wailuku, but also to have athletes from your island, of course, Colton Cowell for men's volleyball, Lale Mataafa from women's water polo. What does it mean to you to represent not just the state, but the Valley Isle?
Oh, that's a huge question because it has a big impact on my heart. And wherever I go, I'll take my Y side, my Wailuku wherever I go, my Valley Isle wherever I go, and I represent with not only humbleness but maturity as well. And I want to be able to take that or carry that with me anywhere I go.
You mentioned playing for dad growing up, that you had the policy of not calling him dad while you were on the field. But is there a funny story or memory of growing up playing sports that you can remember? And I can see you laughing in the background. There must be a funny story.
Yes. Okay. So one story is that during baseball, I was Bronco, so maybe like 11 years old. I was the only girl at that time, and I was at shortstop with this guy named Okoni Ariaga. He graduated from Baldwin High School, and I think it was Nohea Kiahi, and I was standing like this, and nobody else stands like that, right? No boys stand like this. So I was standing like this, and then my dad yelled, "Stop standing like a girl." And I was like looking at my my teammates. I was like, "Oh, okay." So I didn't even know how to stand. I was like, "Okay." So I was standing like this, and then all of a sudden I put my hands back on my hips, and he said, "I told you you're not standing like a role model. Like, I mean, not a role model, but like a model." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sorry, coach." And he said, "You know what? Run." So I ran the entire practice because I was standing like a model. I was like, "Oh gosh." But yeah, that was my only funny story that I have with my dad.
When did you know that you wanted to play softball in college?
I didn't, honestly. I was very hard-headed, very stubborn. I thought baseball was like my life. I thought I was going to continue baseball in high school and then actually just end my career. I didn't really think of college. My older brother went to college in Palm Springs, but that was for football. And then my second oldest got drafted, fourth round pick to the New York Mets. So I didn't really think college was an option for me because and yeah, my parents said, it's a good transition if you was to transfer to um, base of softball right now. I'm in high school, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess so then. And so I was able to play my freshman year in high school, and that's just how it started. Just trickled down from there.
What schools were interested in you when you were looking at colleges, and what led you to pick to go and play for and study at the University of Washington for a couple of years?
This might be funny, but the reason why I chose University of Washington was because one, they're purple, and they had sick jerseys. I wasn't really a big softball fan, to be honest. I didn't look at the College World Series when I was in high school. I wasn't really, into that until I spoke to Coach Tar, Heather Tar, and she gave me an opportunity to play for them. And I was like, okay, I was just looking into their school, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're like top 5 in the nation. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, is that even possible? I was like, this little island girl from Maui. And so I was like, oh, okay, shoot, let's go. And then so I was like, okay, let's just go get my unofficial visit. And I did it, and I fell in love with that place. Till this day, I still think that place is still second, third home for me, even if it's so far away, and even if I transferred from University of Washington to University of Hawaii at Manoa. So yeah.
There is a short list of head coaches in the game of major college softball, and you mentioned, of course, one of them being your former head coach, Heather Tar. To play for her for a couple of years, as you look back on it, what do you take away the most from your time at UW?
My softball IQ, my maturity in the Pac-12 conference. She has so much knowledge, so much ike in her mind, and I want to be able to not only take that in within myself, but also share that with my, island girls. So I'm actually coaching a little bit with Y-Side and, where I live. So I think that's pretty cool. But beside that, I thank Coach Tar every single day. I still keep in touch with her once in a while, once in a great while. But yeah, definitely her softball IQ and the maturity.
2 years at UW, 2 trips to Oklahoma City to the Women's College World Series. As you watch the Women's College World Series this year, we kind of talked about that before we started recording. As you watch the series continue going on into the championship series, as you reflect upon your two trips to OKC, what do you take away from those trips?
It's a big stage, and it's every little girl's dream to step on that field. And I had the privilege to actually face Jossie my one time at bat. I got a single, and so I thought that was pretty cool myself, like just for one opportunity, one shot. I thought that was pretty cool. And getting to cheer on my team, getting the experience of um, winning and losing against top schools, in the nation, of being there. I think that's pretty trippy enough. It says a lot even for JMU, James Madison University.
Mm-hmm.
They did awesome. Odyssey did awesome. Like I bet everyone thought they wouldn't have made it, but they proved everybody wrong, or whoever didn't have faith in them. They proved them wrong. And I think that's so awesome for, College World Series and how it ends up, because you never know who can be on that stage.
Of course, you made it to Oklahoma City for a couple of years with UW. UH made it in 2010. You mentioned JMU and Odyssey for the Dukes. For a small program for mid-majors out there that, like you said, want to dream big, how special is it to watch a mid-major program go on a run like JMU did?
I think that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what to say about that, because it just goes off by stats and ranking, and it just says a lot of it doesn't matter. Like, ranking doesn't matter. And if you keep fighting, keep trying to win for the team, like for the coaches, like it's a different mindset. I feel like especially for Oklahoma, they have a mindset or culture of championship mindset. Yeah. And I think that's awesome, because they take that mindset every single game at a time. It's not only just when you get to OKC. It's one game at a time. And I think that's awesome to have, and I'm pretty sure JMU had the same mindset, but it wasn't their quote, I guess, but I bet they had the same mindset just as OKC.
To play in the Pac-12 for a couple of years, you faced Rachel Garcia over at UCLA, but to play in maybe the premier conference in major college softball, yes, the Pac-12 doesn't have a representative in the championship series, but to play against the top pitchers in the country, how has that helped you get better as a hitter now that you're in the Big West with UH Manoa?
Oh, definitely. I got to recognize pitch. I got to be able, of course, what you said, face elite pitchers. And with that, I feel like I can be able to adjust. I think that's important for hitters, is to adjust to a pitch, adjust to pitchers. And with having elite pitchers, of facing against them, I feel like I'm able to actually adjust and overcome that. And even if I strike out or whatever, then I can just think about the next pitch. I wasn't able to do that before. I would always lack, and just think like down upon about my last at bat. But that's not how it goes, and I feel like that's amazing for other hitters, is to overcome that. I think that's huge.
A hypothetical one here for you. Say you were in the game against Alabama. Montana Fouts is in the midst of her perfect game. If you're facing her for the second time, how are you trying to maybe bunt your way on for a base hit? How would you try to approach facing a player who's in the midst of a perfect game?
When a pitcher's on, what can I say? But it takes one hit. And I think if they were able, I think they were just in their head at that time, because UCLA, they're very good at offense and defense at the same time. But offensively, I know that they can do it. But I think they were just in their head. They wasn't really adjusting that much. Their swings look like they're really just swinging, and I don't know. I think that she was just on her game. It's hard to, to hit off someone who just knows that they can dominate. And if you get defeated, then your mindset is going to be defeated as well.
You mentioned her at the beginning of our interview, Jocelyn Alo, Jossie, as you called her, the player of the year out of Eva Beach, playing for OU. To see a Hawaii girl on the biggest stage having such a great season, how cool is it to have a Hawaii athlete on the biggest stage in your sport that you love?
Amazing. She's a hammer. Oh my gosh, she's doing wonders right now, especially for the program that she's at. She just broke the record, right? She's like 2 over home runs after Chamberlain. And I think that's such an amazing, success, especially for someone who wasn't getting pitched at all in high school. I know that a lot of us, especially my team, we were throwing away from her because we're scared, we're scared that she's going to hit a bomb against us. But I think that just says a lot for other teams. They respect her. It's the game, she can do wonders for her team, herself, for the man above. That's what she said in one of her posts on IG. And for Hawaii, she represents us well, not only for her successes, but also her humbleness that she puts on her success.
When you told mom and dad that you were going to transfer back home and play for Manoa, what was their initial reaction?
First of all, I went into the transfer portal before they even knew, because I knew this was a great decision for me. But they were like, really? So we only can catch a flight only 30 minutes now? And I'm like, yeah, basically only 30 now. You don't have to wait 5 hours to come and see me. But yeah, they definitely took that opportunity as much as they could. Last year, they hopped in the plane every single home game that we had, even if it was short. We didn't have a season, but we had a lot of games at our field, and they had that opportunity to come in, watch me and Hawaii play. Yeah, definitely it was a big shocker. A lot of my family members actually was really excited that I got to wear Hawaii on my chest and on my back, and definitely a good choice that I made. A wonderful choice.
Nawai, we do need to take a break right here, but stay right there. Along with shortstop Nawai Kaupe, I'm Tiff Wells. You're listening to ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Talk Story. Welcome back to ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Talk Story. I'm Tiff Wells. We're here with senior shortstop from softball, Nawai Kaupe. Now, Nawai, we all know that teams, regardless of sport, do a lot of traveling. You're the only team in your conference in this state. But when you do travel, what are a couple of the must-have items that you have to have in your carry-on bag?
My laptop, because I have to do schooling, and I feel like that's the best way for me to actually do my homework is on the plane, because I have nothing else to do.
You mentioned mom and dad. Of the two, this one might be a little hard. Who's the better cook?
Oh, I want to say mom.
All right, so if you guys are going to a potluck, and of course, COVID, social distancing, what have you, that's all there. If you're asking mom to make one dish to bring to the potluck, what's she bringing and why?
Prime rib. Because that's the bomb. I don't know. It's just the best. She makes them so good. It's a huge feast. Everybody can eat them.
When you were in Seattle for a couple of years at UW, was there one or two food items that you missed that you had to have once you came back to UH and you transferred to be a Rainbow Wahine?
This place called Din Tai Fung. It's, I don't even know how to explain it, but their fried rice is so oh my gosh.
If Coach Coolin's giving you a day off, and those day off are quite rare during the season, especially, but if he gives you a day off, how are you spending it?
Beach. Yep, definitely the beach. Got to cool off somehow.
What is your walk-up song, and is that going to change going into 2022?
My walk-up song is Morning Ride by Fiji. It was a dedication to my older brother, or my oldest brother. Is it going to change? I don't know. We would have to see about that.
You played in the Pac-12 for a couple of years. You've been in the Big West. You've seen big-time pitching. You've seen the mid-major pitching. Is there a big difference between, say, the Pac-12 and other Power 5 conferences, and then what you've seen with Hawaii as you played in the Big West the last couple of seasons?
Yes, Pac-12 has a better spin, better movement. Velocity-wise, I think it's pretty up and up. Oh my gosh, at University of Washington, we actually had the fastest pitcher. It was Tara Novello, so I wouldn't know because she was on my team. So
when you when you saw the season schedule come out and there weren't a whole lot of non-conference games, but you folks got to have your former team come out to Rainbow Wahine softball stadium for a weekend. You got to see your former coach, Heather Tarr, of course, Sis Bates and Gabby playing on that team. To see your former school as your opponent for the weekend, what kind of emotions did you have, and was it tough going into the box facing Gabby?
Definitely not. I think it was just fun for me. I don't know if they had any pressure. I don't think so, but I definitely think that was a friendly rivalry that we had. I knew I just had to take Gabby at least one home run, at least. But she outbeat me with some of her nasty pitches that she obviously has. She's one of the top pitchers in the nation, and I'm proud of her. But definitely a friendly rivalry. I actually got to see them afterwards. They were very happy for me. They saw me. I was happier here at home. So yeah, I was shocked they didn't get to hit to me though that much. I wanted to get them out. I wanted to get my friends out. So that was kind of a bummer.
February 6th of 2020. It's your first career start for UH. You guys are taking on Northern Colorado. What do you remember about your first career start for UH?
Oof. I think I remember alternating shortstop with Princess Mataval. I call her Lele. But I was alternating with her because, of course, there wasn't a guaranteed shortstop. I still had to fight my way. I wasn't gonna just get handed, to me of that position. But I was alternating with Princess or Lele. And I remember I made one play and then I got taken out, and then Lele made one play and it hyped me up. I love to see good rivalry, but also just within our teammates, trying to get us better. But that's what I remember.
Last March, you guys are home for a tournament. I believe it was on a Wednesday. You just finished up a doubleheader. The next day, you find out that the tournament is canceled. Then the season's postponed, then canceled. To have all these types of emotions, how tough was it to kind of put together that your season just came to a close like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I felt really bad for the seniors because I wasn't too sure if they were able to even come back or they had a chance to come back. But luckily they did. But Cal, she didn't. Callie Heen, she didn't want to come back. But that's always up to her, and she's living big right now. She's at home, and I'm proud of her for whatever she chooses. But I'm just glad for the opportunity for the seniors to come back, and I'm glad I could be able to actually finish the season with Cheeks Ramos. And yeah, it was definitely a bad birthday gift for me. My birthday was March 7. I think it closed like March 8, they told us, but definitely not the best birthday gifts ever.
How did you stay in softball shape during this time? Just because like a lot of the facilities were closed and you couldn't go work out, but how did you stay mentally and physically in shape, in game shape?
Yeah, so luckily I have a lot of balls from the camp that I held with University of Washington here on Maui. They gave me those balls in 2017. And then I have a net, so I was hitting balls in the net. And luckily I have a garage, and it's, oh my gosh, and it's cement wall. So I was able to throw ball a little bit, throw tennis ball. And then I had my brother's home, so I was able to throw with him. So that was basically it. Nothing major, just little minor tweaks of how I can get better, either in my swinging or my fielding.
Second team All Big West Conference. You were third team All West Region with the NFCA. To get those accolades after this 2021 season, were you proud of your individual accomplishments?
Yes, definitely was proud. I wasn't even thinking about getting anything just because it was my first year coming in. But I would just thank my teammates, my coaches, and my brother and my dad. Definitely, they had a huge impact. They didn't have to do extra things with me or get me better. So I just want to thank everybody who was a part of this individual accomplishment, even if it was me. But on the outside, it was everybody who contributed.
There are a lot of top college pitchers, and we've mentioned a few of them throughout our interview. But if there was one in particular that is the toughest to face, who would that be and why?
Toughest to face. And that's a tough question. Probably. That's tough. There's a lot of elite pitchers, but spin wise, I would maybe probably say Odyssey. I'll probably say Odyssey. Fast velocity wise, if she could hit her corners well, then the Alabama pitcher. Totally forgot her name. Didn't even get through my mind, but yeah, definitely her. For G
I'm
War.
assuming we're speaking of Montana Fouts.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Hannah. Like despite her perfect game and all of that, but I think if she was to spot on her corners and I think she would be a great pitcher. For G Juarez, I actually faced against her. She's actually nasty, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard, It's a tough question.
You guys didn't have fans at home games this year. It was a protocol put down by the Big West and of course by UH to not have fans in the stands. But your folks' last home series against UC Davis, it's on TV. A lot of the family members up on that 5th floor of the parking garage. To see those dedicated fans up there, how special was it, especially for the seniors?
Yeah. Oh, definitely special. I mean, we kept on getting busted of parents going to the stairs on our right side and then the parking lot structure. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's dedication, even if they get busted from our park rangers or officers there or security there. I feel like that's pretty darn good dedication for our seniors, especially just staying through the whole entire game. They even stayed afterwards when we was walking out. They had a drum when the seniors came along, but definitely was a long day for us to set up for them, but definitely beneficial, and we love to see them smile.
We know baseball players are quite superstitious. Are softball players equally superstitious? And if so, what is maybe one or two of your superstitions?
Definitely. I want to say yes. There's a lot of us who's very superstitious, but there's a lot of us who overcame that. I would have to say I need to get coffee. I definitely need to get coffee, and my entire team knows that. If I don't get coffee, then I feel like I'm not energized at all. There's a lot of my teammates who drinks like energy drinks, but I'm not a fruity person. I've always drank coffee. I don't know why. Take it from my dad, but yeah, that and probably chewing gum here and there. But if I make an error that gum is coming out of my mouth, I'm not chewing that same gum.
It was a special group of seniors that you folks, parted ways with after the 2021 season, one of them being Mama Rivera. And so I have to ask this because a lot of people feel she's a ham. She has a lot of energy. She likes to play for the cameras on the field. If there's a rain delay during a game next year, who's going to be the one leading the dance-offs?
I want to say Lele. She has moves, and I feel like she's a little bit shy on, when it comes all cameras on her and everyone's looking at her, but she's definitely someone who can, get that dance competition going on. Mama, we're gonna miss her energy, but she definitely made an impact for all of us in the dugout.
Lastly, here in Nawai, we know that the UH fan base for every sport is not just within the island or around the state, but it's around the world. So if you had a chance to give a message to the softball fan base out there for UH, what would you like to tell them?
Be yourself. You know, there's a lot of schools looking at, you know, different people, and that's how I got recruited. I wasn't recruited because they wanted to see me. They actually wanted to see somebody else, and they liked how I played. They liked how, you know, I was able to, work with my team in that sense, but also my personality. I feel like if everyone could just be themselves, then they can get recruited for just being themselves. They don't have to, you know, try harder or be anything less. Definitely be yourself.
Nawai, this has been so much fun. Thank you for the time you've given us today. And thanks again for joining us. Congrats on a great season and best of luck in 2022.
Mahalo. Thank you so much.
For Nawai, as well as the rest of us here at ESPN Honolulu, I'm Tifo saying thank you so much for joining us here on the 37th edition of ESPN Honolulu Fan Friday Top Story. Until next time, wear that mask, stay safe, and like Nawai says, be yourself. Stay socially distant.